Morning, guys. Hope you're doing well. Today, I want to answer the following question. Thank you to the individual that sent me this. The question is as follows. Hey Arnav, I am a college freshman. I am currently dating my high school sweetheart, but we're long distance. I'm struggling with whether the two of us should continue. I love her and we're good, but obviously long distance is tough and has its adversity. I want to stay with her even though it's tough, but I'm also receiving, contradictory advice from my friends. All of my friends here at school want me to be single and experience that. They continue to bring up the idea that I'll regret not experiencing being single in college if we do ever break up, and that these years of being in college never come back. I'm curious if you had any thoughts on approaching this situation. Thank you for the question. So the first thing that I would say is, and it'll sound contradictory, just because the majority of people are doing something doesn't mean that that something is the right thing to do or is the right thing for you. I'll explain what I mean. So here's what most people would give as theoretical advice in the dating world. Date several people throughout your life, maybe get into, a couple different relationships so you understand what you like and don't like in terms of what you want in a partner. And then after that, when you find a person that seems to match all your desires and wants from a partner, make a commitment to that person and you'll be good. And this sounds like pretty solid dating, marriage advice, right? The thing that's interesting about this sort of typical thought process on dating is, let's just say hypothetically a person meets, that optimal person, the person that seems to match all of their desires and wants from a relationship, and the first person they ever get into a relationship with, right? That's a possibility based on what the criteria of theoretically best dating advice is. It's obviously, there's a smaller chance of that happening, but in that scenario, if it does happen, theoretically you don't ever need to date anybody else again. You have a partner that matches, the desires and characteristics that you want in a life partner, and, is maybe, obviously willing to work on the things that you want improved, and you're willing to work on the things that they want to improve. And I guess it's a good fit. I say all this because if you feel like your partner has the potential to be your life partner, then I would recommend you stay with that person and stay in that relationship. I think the majority of people would say that finding your life partner can be a struggle for years on years. And so when someone has that potential, you shouldn't take them for granted. The second thing I would say is we need to understand not everyone needs to the same theoretical life experiences, to get to the same place in life, right? So for your friends, they value wanting to be single and experiencing the single life, but maybe from your perspective, you've had enough experience and perspective on being single. Maybe I don't know the nature of the relationship, but maybe you guys met senior year of high school, so you had been single, throughout up until your junior year of high school. You know what being single is like, and you know what it's like being with, your girlfriend, and you don't want to go back to being single because you enjoy being with your partner. different people need different things, and I think we have to be okay with that as a society. Um, there's a right way for you to live your life, and there's a right way for your friends to live their life. Um, Neither way of living life is quote unquote wrong. It's just what's, right for the individual. Some people might need to date a lot of people before they're comfortable deciding on committing to someone. Some people, if the right person comes along, they know and they're good, and that's why you have stories of high school sweethearts that are, get married young and stay married for 50 years. Um, I think the other part that I would talk, the advice that your friends are giving comes from two different places, right? One is the aspect of they would just rather all of their friends be living the same lifestyle that they are, so they don't have to question anything. And then I think the second place it's coming from is their own insecurities. So on that first part, you represent a different way of living. You're in a committed relationship. And in some ways, that is a threat to their life perspective. You know, they want to be in college and want to be single and have fun. And they don't want to be reminded of people in committed relationships. And so you're kind of bursting that bubble. And it's tough because for them, it forces them to reflect on, am I living the right way? Um, and things like that, and on a different type of way to live. And, you know, you know, as an 18-year-old, you don't have a ton of um, a maturity. But, you know, I think for those of us that have experienced a good amount of life, we would tell you the best friends in life are the ones who accept you for who you are, even if you have a different perspective or a different lifestyle than what I do or what lifestyle I carry. Um, in other words, you may not drink and I drink, but I'm still going to be your friend. Or you may be a Republican and I'm a Democrat, but I'm still your friend. We can live different lifestyles and still be friends. Um, and I think that goes to my second point, which is, to me, it just sounds like your friend's advice is coming from a place of insecurity, and they're projecting that. For them, they wouldn't be able to commit to their high school sweetheart, so they're, you know, providing that level of advice. But that doesn't need to apply to you. As we talked about, you're a different human being with different life experiences, and you can have a different perspective on life. The third thing that I would say to you is understand that independent thinking or living in a different way is hard. It's not going to be easy. And as you navigate through these 4 years of school, like, I think you're going to be told a lot of the time, hey man, you should, be single. And you're going to have to develop, a tough skin about yourself where you're confident in who you are, your values, your decision making, and the choices you're making. And again, I just want to emphasize, when you're going against the majority or the grain, it's hard. I can't remember what study, but I was reading a psychology study, and it's been repeated in many different forms throughout the years, so you can look this up. But essentially, there was one that I'm thinking of where they had a participant in an elevator, and people around them would be facing the wrong direction, i.e., away from the door. And basically, as the number of people increases in the elevator facing the wrong direction, more often the participant ended up facing the wrong direction. So, for example, if it was just one person facing the wrong direction, it was easy for the participant to face the right direction. But then when that number became, 4, 5, 6, maybe 10 people facing the wrong direction, then the participant would actually face the wrong direction because all of a sudden there's more people, uh, you know, living their life that way. But throughout this process, the right direction is always the right direction. And so, it takes some time to develop tough skin and confidence in who you are and the way you're living. But I think just try and continue to work on that. In that realm, the fourth thing I would also say that's important in all situations in life is who are you getting advice from? That's something you want to reflect on. Um, it seems like most of the advice is coming from your college friends. What level of maturity do they have? Um, and also think about, like, am I getting advice from different people? Am I diversifying the channels from where I'm getting advice from? Like, am I getting advice from older people, like a grandparent or a parent? Am I getting any advice from people that have graduated college? And what do they have to say? I would definitely recommend getting advice from um, people that have lived where you're living in right now, and make sure that it's not all from a similar mindset of people. And then finally, I'll just kind of acknowledge the regret aspect of your friend's advice, and I think that's probably the aspect that is most affecting you. Here's what I'll say: there's a certain amount of things in life where you just have to live and learn. There's a big push nowadays to really live a mistake-free life, and that's just not possible. Hindsight, wisdom, lessons from life only come from living and only come after living. Um, you don't need me to tell you this, but there's a chance you guys stay together, maybe until your junior year, and then you break up. There's also a chance that you guys stay together for the rest of your life. All we can do as human beings is control the present. If in the present moment the best decision for your life, based on all the judgments that you can make, is being with your girlfriend, then stay with your girlfriend. If that changes in the future, that changes in the future for either party. And obviously that will lead to a perspective change. But as of today, based on the existing parameters, that's all we can make the best judgments from. And that's what you have to do. And if that's staying with your girlfriend, stay with your girlfriend. Hope this helps. Feel free to give me any comments or feedback based on what I said. And if you have any other topics or questions that you think I could address, please send them over. Thanks, guys.